What you feel when you hear the term coffee? You feel fresh, you feel light. But do you know this term? That coffee is not of Indian origin, and in its early days it is available only for the elite classes of the society. But right now the situation and scenario has been changed. The coffee has become the third popular drink of the world after water and tea. Hello friends, welcome to the Economy Primer series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today's session is about coffee production in India. So moving towards the points of discussion part. First of all, we are going to discuss why this particular topic is into the discussion. Then we are going to discuss about the background about the coffee, that what is the story behind the coffee, and then location of the coffee, that in which area coffee is grown, and also the current scenario in terms of the production and in terms of the Indian production, then export trend. So majorly we are going to discuss in Indian terms or Indian context, and also the government initiative regarding coffee production in the country. After that we are going to discuss practice question prelims, and before that you have to like, share and subscribe to the Drishti IAS channel. So moving towards the discussion part. So first of all, these are the cutouts we have taken from the newspaper, and what all these cutouts shows that the production of coffee is relevant in the country, and there is so much news which has covered on the coffee, and it's very important you to know about that, what is the story behind the coffee and what is the current scenario and how much it is producing and how much it is contributing to the export sector of the country. So the first cutout says that, is Indian coffee the next big entrepreneurial opportunity? India showcases thriving coffee industry at World Coffee Conference. Regenerative cultivation, the way to grow India's coffee industry. Coffee in India facing the impact of climate change, but work on mitigation begun. Coffee prices at 50-year high. Growers thrilled. So all these cutouts says that coffee is a talk of the country, and also we are thinking about that how coffee is boosting the economic production and also how it is contributing to the entrepreneurship opportunity, what is the stake we have. So that's why we have chosen this topic. Moving to the background part. So in the introduction session, I have already told you that coffee is not of Indian origin. So when this story has begun? So we have the story of Baba Budan who visited Mecca, and from there he bought 7 or 8 beans or coffee beans and he planted at Chandragiri Hills, and there the story and saga of the coffee started. And in which time he went? So he went around 1670, which is of the 17th century. And in 17th century Dutch were in the India, and Dutch had helped Indians and promoted coffee production in the country. So when we talk about the coffee production in the country, we have to also give credit to the Dutch. So because of the Dutch, we can see that coffee production has been started in the country. But when it comes to the commercial importance of the coffee, that when coffee become a commercial crops and when it was commercialized, so it is after the British came. So when the British Raj came, after that the story of commercial coffee has begun. So this is the brief background about the coffee production in the country. And after that we can see that coffee board was established in 1907, and which can see much process about the coffee, about its production, about its manufacturing, about its export. And until the liberalization, which is in 1990s, the Coffee Board of India was very much active and it looks various aspects of the coffee production of the country. And after liberalization, we can see that the country has allowed that they can choose their sellers and to whom they want to sell. So this is the brief background about the coffee production in the country. Moving to the introduction part. So the what is the location of the coffee right now we have in the country? So we have 2 areas which has been divided. The first area is the traditional area where coffee is grown traditionally, and the second is the new area identified by the government where growers are enthusiastic about the growing the coffee. So this is the dark green one is the traditional areas and light green one is the non-traditional areas. So this is the Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So these are the traditional areas where coffee has been grown from the historical, and the new areas we have developed like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Mizoram. It means that entire northeast is involved in the coffee production. So this is about the location of the coffee. Coming to that, India coffee production is between 70 to 99% grown on small farm, which is less than the 10 hectare of the size, and also the vast majority is still produced in the traditional growing areas. And Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu alone consist of 90% of the production of the coffee in the country. It means that these three areas alone consist 90% of the production of the coffee in the country. And also the rest areas we had already identified like Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and seven sisters of the northeast, they are also involved in the coffee production. So this is the location about coffee producing areas. Coming to the that which state grows how much coffee. So Karnataka is the largest producer of the coffee and it grows about 70% of the total production of the coffee in the country. After that we have Kerala, and Kerala produce about 23% of the total production of the coffee, and it is the second largest producer of the coffee. And coming to the third, which is the Tamil Nadu, and it produces around 6% of the total coffee production. And then coffee is also produced in the Nilgiri district of the Tamil Nadu, and Odisha and Northeastern also produce coffee, but in a very less amount because these are the new areas which has started the coffee production. So this is the location and this is the percentage we have got that which state produce how much percentage of the coffee. Moving to the next one. So next one is about the current scenario. So what is the current scenario we have in terms of the production? So here we can see that India's coffee production trend in lakh tons. And what all these data shows that, so this data consists of 2016 to 2023 and 4, and what we have seen that we can see the upward trend except 1 year which is 1920, maybe because of the pandemic, maybe because of the climate change and other regions, we can see that less amount of the production. Since then we can see that production of coffee is rising significantly, and this time also we can see that there is a slight increase and upward trend in the production of the coffee. And then coming to the another one, that India became the world 5th largest coffee exporter during the 21-22, but right now it is said that the new data says that it is the 6th largest production coffee country, and also with 6% of the global output during the financial year 2022. And India coffee is one of the best coffee in the world, and it produces two kinds of the coffee, Arabica and Robusta. We already know Arabica and Robusta, so it produces two kinds of the coffee which are very popular, Arabica and Robusta. And Robusta coffee is mainly used in making various blends because it is in very strong flavor, and also Robusta is majorly manufactured coffee for the export only because the strong coffee is liked by Europeans. So we can see that Robusta has a great market in European countries, and the industry provides direct employment for more than 2 million people in the country. And since it does not have much domestic demand unlike the tea, because whatever the tea production is happening in the country, the 80% is consumed by the domestic people, but we don't have similar stories for coffee. So much of its production happened and it always went for the export. So the export market in terms of coffee is very much rich. Moving to the another slide, which is export trend. So this is the export trend, India's coffee export trend, US dollar million. And here also we can see the upward trend. Here we can see that these are the two to 3 years where we can see that there is a decline in terms of the export trend, and maybe most of the regions belongs to the pandemic, because in the pandemic the export market has suffered a lot, but since then we can see that we have recovered a lot, and since 735 we have come to the 1033 and right now 1126. So we are significantly increasing into this direction also. Moving to the another slide, which is of the coffee is one of the world's most third popular drink after water and tea. I already have told you, and we can see that how the export is rising in the context of the coffee. So it is rising by the US dollar 102 billion and surpass the target of $1.8 billion by the Commerce Ministry. So the Commerce Ministry has fixed a particular target, but it has surpassed that target. It means that we are doing very good in terms of the export industry, in terms of the production also. And Russia and Turkey is becoming the very good market for the Indian coffee, and we can see that Indian coffee exports have increased 6% during April to July 2023 at $451.94 million on higher prices. So we can see that Russia and Turkey is growing their market and it is increasing day by day. Also, India majorly export Robusta coffee. I already have told you, because of its strong flavor, and Europeans like strong flavor coffee. So India majorly exports Robusta coffee, and Arabica is mostly used for the domestic purpose because it has a mild aromatic flavor, and which is very much popular in the country. So this is the difference between the Robusta and the Arabica. And also we have a great market for the instant coffee, and around 31% of which we export to the other countries. And it has also increased in the production in terms of the export, and we can see that the export has been increased by 11% in terms of the instant coffee. So we have a great demand for the instant coffee also. Moving to the another slide, which is of the, according to the Food and Agriculture of Organization, India is the 8th largest exporter of the coffee by volume, and by percentage it is the 5th largest coffee production. And also India coffee export display the seasonality with export, and the country exports over 70% of its production. So I already have told you that here we have a not similar stories like tea. In tea, most of the production happen for the domestic purposes, but in coffee, most of the production happen for the export purposes, and 70% of the coffee we export to the other countries. So this is the different story from the tea. And for the financial year ending, we can see that 18% growth from the last year. So the export has been also increased, and in the financial year 2023, the export of the coffee stood at $525 million, and this is a strong growth in export and realization of the coffee grower in the state. So all these data is showing that we have significantly improved in terms of the production, and the popularity of coffee is growing, especially the Indian flavor of the coffee, which has grown a lot to the European market. Moving to the another one, which is of the tea export destination, coffee export destination. So what we have seen that Italy produce largest amount of the coffee, which is of the 20%, and also the Libya also produces 12%. Then Russia Federation has a great market. So what we have seen that Germany has a great demand for the Indian coffee, and the rest other has the 3%. Jordan has also great demand. Belgium also has a great demand. But when it comes to the which country tops in the export trend of the Indian coffee, so we export a lot to the Italy, around the 20%. So this is the story of the Indian export, and it is very much popular in the Italy. Moving to the next slide, which is about the India exports coffee to more than 50 countries. We already know that, and Italy, Germany, Belgium, Russian Federation has grown the demand of Indian coffee, and we can see that they import Indian types of coffee a lot, and it has been increased by a total share of the 45%. It means that from the last data onwards, it has been increased for the 45%, and the 45% of the Indian coffee goes to these countries like Italy, Germany, Belgium, and Russian Federation. And other coffee importing countries are Libya, Poland, Jordan, Malaysia, US, Slovenia, Australia. So these are the also countries who import Indian types of the coffee. And I already have told you that in Europe, the Robusta coffee is very much famous because of its strong flavor. On the other hand, in the Middle Eastern region, Arabica is very much famous because of its mild flavor, and because of its maybe the origin has been come from the Middle Eastern region. And also the government of Japan has given the assurance that they will purchase all the production of the coffee which is grown in the Manipur state. So this is another development in coffee production and in the export market. And also 2/3 of the 3.6 lakh tons of the green coffee is produced in the country. It means that we are also doing very much good in terms of the production of green coffee, and we also export to green coffee to the other market. Moving to the another slide. Another slide is about government initiative. So what government of India is doing in terms of the coffee production in the country. So the government of India took initiative to provide subsidies to the farmer, and what amount it has decided. So it has decided $2,500 to $3,500 per hectare for developing coffee in the traditional areas, Kerala, Karnataka. So these are the traditional areas we have. And it also provide assurance and assistance to the water augmentation equipments, marketing and promotion for the coffee production, and it also promotes coffee in the for its production in non-traditional area. It means that Odisha and the northeastern areas, which has become the non-traditional areas where coffee production has been started. So the government of India is promoting the production of coffee into these areas, and it has also designed a policy, national policy for the tribal development, and in that scenario the coffee production is also one of the work. So it is promoting the coffee production, also the welfare of the farmers. So the government is doing the twin objective through one work, and they are encouraging the export into these non-traditional areas. Moving to the what other initiative government is taking. So it is taking initiative in terms of the export production, because 70% of the coffee we export to the other countries. So they have also come with the different export incentives, and they are providing incentive for ₹2 per kg for exporting high value green coffee to the higher value markets such as the USA, Canada, Japan, and then also incentive of ₹3 per kg for export of the value added coffee in retail consumer and also Indian brands. So if they will use the tag like Indian brand, so they are also giving ₹3 per kg, and they are also giving other kind of thing like ₹2.6 kg for 1.19 kg for the roasted coffee. So for different coffee they have a different provisions, and ₹3 kg they are giving on the total amount and total volume of 2.6 kg for the instant and soluble coffee, and for roasted coffee 1.9 kgs. So these are the incentives which has been provided by the government in order to promote the different varieties of coffee, not just one variety of the coffee. So this initiative has been taken by the government of this country. That's it for today's session. In the comment section you have to answer one question, that in which area the coffee has been grown highest in the country. It means that you have to identify the state, that which state produce the largest amount of coffee in the country, and you have to also answer that in all over the world which country produces largest amount of the coffee. So this is the practice question prelims for your comment section. So kindly answer this question in the comment section. I hope you like this session. If you have any queries related to this session, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.